Hey, welcome back. So I created this little game world for an assignment I had to do for a game design course I did earlier this year. So we had to create a game design document for that, and we had to populate the document with game art. Luckily, I was able to use Blender for that, because otherwise I wouldn't have known how to do it. The assignment was to create a game for an online music store. The idea was that new customers would be presented with a branded game to discover music genres and instruments that they would be interested in and possibly buy at the store. So I got inspired by the festivals I used to go to, mainly Lowlands, which takes place on a big festival terrain and has multiple different tents with different music genres. So I thought of a little game world, a little festival world with different tents with different music genres. So we have a rock tent, and we have a DJ tent, and we have a classical tent, and we also have a little campfire for all the kumbaya stuff, you know, with the acoustic guitars or a banjo possibly, you know. The idea is when the player runs into a tent, there's an NPC there, which the player can ask questions about the genre, about instruments, but there are also two big boards. There's an inspiration board and there's a mini game board. So on the inspiration board, you can find all kinds of cool videos of Metallica or Rage Against the Machine, you know. And the mini game board consists of mini games in the genre. So think about a drum game with colored blocks falling down, and you have to hit the right drum at the right time. And then you collect coins, and if you earn enough coins, you can get nice discounts at the web shop, you know, that kind of thing. So the same idea goes for the classical tent and also the DJ tent. So that's the main game idea I had, and now I had to put that with the game art into the GDD, the game design document. So I started out by sketching a map in my sketchbook and think about all the assets I needed to put into the document to get my idea across, because that was the assignment, how to get your idea across in a professional way. I thought of, you know, the shots or the renders I needed. So then it was time to dive into Blender and create the actual festival terrain with the tents and everything. So I started out with creating a rolling terrain. I sculpted a little bit, and then I decided that the terrain needed to have a path along the terrain. I needed the path to stick on the terrain, and luckily there was a nice tutorial about that by XOIO on a road on a terrain, and I followed that tutorial, and then I had my beautiful path running around the terrain. So that was really helpful. I will link everything below again, of course, as usual. And then it was time to create the tents, and I was really in a rush. So luckily I found a little 1-minute tutorial on a really nice low poly tent. So I started out with the classical tent, and I wanted the classical tent to have a big chandelier. And luckily I found a nice tutorial by Octopus Effects on randomizing and scaling and color randomizing a bunch of cubes in this case, but I chose spheres instead. So that's how I created the chandelier. Then it was time to create the NPCs, and luckily Infanzia has a really cool tutorial on a cute style, a cute little low poly style for characters. Let me introduce to you Peter the rocker, Fiona the violinist, and Dave the DJ. And then of course I had to create a few other characters who represented the players. It was time to create a few little mini games. I used Figma for that also, because that's what I know as a UX designer. You know, when it comes to UIs, I default to Figma. So it's a little Blender Figma combination right there. And then it was time to create the game design document. So I wrote out my ideas. I rendered out all the game art I needed in there. It was finally done. And luckily, the assessors were really happy with it. And luckily, I finished the course in time. Yay! So yeah, it was a rush. I had to run through everything, but it was a really nice way to create a game idea like that. So I hope there was something useful in this video for you. And with that said, if you like this video, please let me know. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!